Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klaus. Let's get started.
When you see God's rest surrounded by armies, then know that his desolation has come near.
It is my destiny, not yours.
Really, it doesn't fucking matter if I'm ready or not. I have to deal with the end of the world, and I'm not ready for that.
The reason why any of us are enough for anything is because we have each other.
Everyone can change, not everyone will, but everyone can.
And every day has been beautiful since.
For these are the days of vengeance, to fulfill all that is written.
Yes, I know we all want to compare our god's dick sizes right now.
My glory is to protect. My virtue is sacrifice.
My curiosity is satisfied.
For your sins, I will allow you to seek the knowledge.
Have the courage to do what's right and not what's written.
And God's rest will be trampled underfoot by the heretics until the times of the harbingers are fulfilled.
We've gotten through this before. We can do it again.
You got this.
One more time. Sodium nitroprusside contains 5 cyanide groups per... Nope, not wrong. Wrong one. It's a cyanide joke for you. So previously, as the Bronze Scales sought out Tasha's memory to provide answers, they came to the Valley of Death in Felnor. Overflowing with death ethos and wandering spirits, a great and massive raven of black wind, Isilvax, patrolled the skies. Most of the scales hid, though Felix faced the creature before being taken in talons to the Wraith Bridge to face the Raven's brother, Theosithis. Felix took a leap of faith as the skeletal Goliath granted him death so that he may cross the Wraith Bridge. As he did so and spoke his way past the Sovereign in the courtyard, Vesper and Amsen rode on the broom across the valley to sneak into the peak and into the ruined castle. However, they were caught by grave ravens who guarded the divine land of death. Inside, Felix was escorted through the great crypt, seeing remembrances of countless dead souls before coming to a mausoleum which housed Tasha's memories. Felix spoke with her remembrance and took a small shard of her, holding information about weapons and boons capable of killing eternal beings. The other scales called. They were all taken and reunited in the throne room, where they came face to face with the Ebon Mother, the dread cryptic, the shadow of Blackstar, Queen of Ravens herself. An intense discussion was had and offers were made before she resurrected Felix and sent you all back to Northhill. We come back to the story here. Pulsing through the dark energy of Blackstar, you find your vision looking upon a great open plain, surrounded on all sides in the great distance by mountains misty. The cold air is biting and already numbs your extremities. A forest of deep blue pine spreads like a sea between the hill you find yourselves on and the rising ascendant plateau in the distance. Sheer cliffs as if it were thrust upward from the ground, and great ivory stones of the ancient aqueduct wind up from the base to the top. You hear the wings of a bird as a raven lands on a nearby branch, cocking its head to look upon you. Your movements are shaded as you look around and orient yourself, with a strange after-image which slowly fades as you cross the shores of the ethereal, and the full sounds and colors and smells and biting cold of the material plane begin to set in. What would you like to do?
Okay, it's fucking cold.
Are you alright, Felix?
Kind of does the pat himself thing. Yeah.
Are you sure? I don't know. Patch you up.
I mean, I assume I'm at 1 hit point. I don't know what happened to me.
I will say you're at full hit points. There is a scar across your throat still.
Well, that's tragic.
Can't do much about that, I'm afraid. Death blows tend to leave a scar no matter what. And she'll kind of pat her chest.
I reach out and I put my hand on Felix's shoulder. I don't know if that was brave or stupid or both, but I'm glad you're still here to feel the cold.
Yeah, well, I have some things to update you on while we walk towards town.
Do we want to just set up camp here, or do we want to get into the city?
What time is it? Ish?
Ish. It's maybe mid-afternoon. It's maybe like 4 or 5. You can see you have a couple hours left of daylight, but it is fading.
Okay, for some reason I had the impression it was night.
Yeah, I don't know why. Me
Night's
too.
a few hours away.
Okay.
Why don't we head to town?
And while we do, Felix will go over his conversation with Tasha and everything he learned there. All of the fancy things.
As soon as he mentions... Do we want to go over that again?
We can go through it. Alright. So, the Bow of Reinhar, Hair, I don't know. Curse of Ursata, Thunder Voice.
Ursatha? That's okay. How much do you know about Ursatha? How much did she tell you?
A serpent that crawled out of Vl'Aeri's eye.
Yeah. Yeah, so apparently, long-ass time ago, Vl'Aeri was, well, she handed over her eye in exchange for knowledge of the planes to someone called the Old One. I don't know who that is. And then Ursatha came out of her eye. Sort of a part of her, but also a thief of her power in a way. So you're saying that we're going to have to go after Ursatha?
Yes, deep in the darkness of the ocean, a path that can only be followed through Vl'Aeri's storm.
Okay.
I'm afraid none of them are particularly easy journeys.
Well, at least that one is... It's not exactly close, but there's a way to get there from here.
That's comforting. Hopefully we have some way to bear the deep darkness of the ocean. Actually, wait, can I do that? Ooh, I can't. I have water breathing.
Well...
Alright, well...
That might be the easy one.
The Light of Righteous Oath, former Star Grove, where the druids stood profanely against the gods from their sin, souls were rend and split with the birth of the Harbingers and Black Star. So that is the origin point. Don't exactly know how to get to that one. Herdrick is not in the Luminant Heavens, but imprisoned by King Tempter Seether beyond the gates of Armageddon in the black pit of the abyss itself. Why don't we save that one till last?
That's a great idea. We'll have god-killing weapons at that point, too.
Okay.
Not that I think we can take Seether, but, once a thought.
Let's squash that thought. We have enough on our plate. And actually, as we're walking and talking, I look around. Is the Raven still following us?
Yeah. And it doesn't seem to be trying to mask that it's observing you.
Super, super cool. Super. Going through the rest, the Bane of Rotted Dreams. Sounds like it's in the spine somewhere. It is all over this continent. I don't know the best way to get into it. But
it certainly sounds... Sorry, I interrupted.
No, go ahead. I always love to hear your commentary.
I just stare at him for a moment, and I don't say anything.
Well, if you don't want to say anything, I think we should go for the easiest ones, or the ones that will do the most good to Northville. I know if Ezekiel was here, he would not be okay with the existence of any kind of aberrations, and maybe this bane of rotted dreams is something he would like to go for.
The armor of sin, which I feel like there's a prophecy about.
Yes, and didn't you go searching for more information on that?
Oh, right, and the weird baby they put in the portal.
So, this armor of sin, that's something we can get?
Yeah, the binary stars in the Sea of Orn will guide the secret path where only those willing to perform great sacrifice can don the armor of sin, for heavy is the burden.
Great sacrifice, like murdering a child? Isn't that what they did in what you saw?
I don't know if they murdered it. It's very Schrodinger's cat. I almost said Pavlov's dog. That's a different thing. Different Arcanist.
Very different.
I would like to see you rationalize that one.
Still, they might not have murdered a child isn't a great endorsement.
Well, I mean, in order to get the Curse of Ursatha, you have to give your own eye in exchange. I don't think we have a whole lot of options.
That's a better sacrifice than murdering a child.
Oh,
yeah,
don't know.
I am more willing to give up my eye, because let's face it, I'm going to be the one who's going to do that, than I am to sacrifice a child if that's what it takes. On the other hand, what was the prophecy connected to that again?
I'm flipping through the book, hang on. I have it. Okay, the prophecy of Vl'Aeri, Hand of God. From their sanctuaries they will present themselves once more. The knights of the lost gods will take up arms, and they will don the armor of sin. Their wings will carry them one last time to war and doom. Standing at the head of this army will be a stranger they know, one with no birth or heritage. They will look upon them as they raise their hands to the heavens and speaketh the words.
So, what if pursuing that means not just getting some armor, but getting an army?
Something to consider. There's also the wings of Diether.
What if that army is the army we would have to go through to acquire this armor of sin?
Vesper, you had said that Braun mentioned some of the will had acquired things like this. Would it be possible that the armor was one of them?
It's very possible. I could bring up somebody notes. Hang on. Let me think back to what he said. I think Demiri has a weapon, but it is possible. He said wings of Diether, though. I'm sure we could get those hopefully fairly easily.
Can you just call up your angel friend and ask?
I can certainly try. Probably wait till we're in the city and go up to the temple where I saw her last. Well, before the other night, but it can't be that easy. There's a prophecy about that as well.
Also involving flying through the gates of Armageddon on silvered wings not their own. Mm-hmm. They will hide amongst the black pit or be swallowed by it. Oh, that sounds fun.
All of these sound fun.
The Locust Star of Derivation, otherwise known as the Star of Ilias, powerful artifact wielded by the blind and deaf seers of Fane Opus. Seek the well of visions, proves worthy of aptitude, be blinded and deafened, to find the protected star and gain its sight, more vast than the physical realm.
There's another prophecy for that too, isn't there?
Yes, and if I remember correctly, it has to do with Amethystus in some way.
So that should probably be on our list.
Yes, Amethystus was what was recommended to me to get us to these places. If anything, I think she should be the top priority. We may be able to skip some travel. We also need to talk to Braun.
If I remember correctly, he said that there were blades specifically that Demiri and Athenira, that's what it was, Athenira have in their possession. I don't know if it's the armor or if it's a literal blade, but that's what he called them.
Well, we should go figure out what else he knows. And go ahead.
I have another thought about the armor. After we met Braun for the first time, actually, Ezekiel went to talk to the Vivis tree. Do you remember what he told us about that? Because what I remember is that he mentioned the Vivis tree told him about somebody who had come from the previous annulus. Someone who might be able to, I don't know, something about the future and seeing the path ahead. But I do remember the name that he said. It was Damodedius or something like that. I wonder if that might be one of these star celestials or ancients or whatever you want to call them. I had that thought at the time, but now it seems a little bit more likely to me. Maybe we should see if we can figure out who this actually is and how to contact him. Or her, or them.
We can certainly try. Well, do we want to all go immediately and find Braun together? Do we want to split up? Some of us go and do research?
I don't know where Braun is in the city. He might be under it, in which case it'll take him a while to get up top.
You should contact him. I'm not going down that fucking elevator again.
Nope, he can come to us.
And I still don't trust him.
No, neither do I.
Anyone should see him alone.
None of us trust him.
Well, it doesn't really look like we're going to get to Nymanet tonight. It'll probably get dark before then. So, we could probably tell him in advance that we're coming. And, he can start making his way up, and we can meet him in the morning or something. I don't know, or around noon.
Is there anywhere closer we can be? I don't know where you can bring us, Ellery.
How far away do we actually seem to be?
When you started, you were maybe about 8-9 hours from reaching the city, you're guessing, and you had about maybe 3-4 hours left of daylight. So as you've kind of been walking, we'll say the sun is beginning to set between the trees, the cold setting in.
I can't get us any closer than we already are. In fact, the closest I can get us is a whole lot farther away than we are now. Andera is the closest place I know that I can get us to.
Do we want to travel through the night? Nymanet should be safe, I think. And I can't imagine the horrors outside of Nymanet. I'm not worried.
I mean, maybe we can at least get to the druids.
Ugh, druids.
They're not so bad. In fact, I'm gonna reach into my pack. I'm gonna pull out the Ember Stone that's been cracked, and I'm gonna pass it to Felix and go, hold on to this, it'll keep your hands warm. Don't lose it. And I will pull out my wolf cloak and put that on.
So do you all plan to press on after nightfall a few hours? Okay. And are you all just walking?
I would like to cast Sending to Braun when we're a little bit closer.
Okay. There's no path. Go ahead.
do we want to move faster? Like, I mean, I guess my guess is the plan is to get there and then sleep anyway, so if we're exhausted from traveling quickly, we can always get some rest.
Yeah, we'll have to use light if we want to travel quickly, but as long as everybody's cool with that.
I think we're close enough to 9 minutes. It should be okay.
Yeah, and I think we're big deals.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna go pretty swiftly, not stealthily. Okay. Navigating isn't too hard. The tree line obscures it a little bit, but the ascendant plateau is massive, rising up several hundred feet, so it's pretty easily to know which direction you're heading. And you guys move in as the sun sets and night takes on. It is cold, and as the night sets in, through the boughs above of these pines, you can see the fractured sky leaking that energy. This sort of strange, dark light, strangely glowing black. You press on using torches or conjuring light from your various spells and abilities and powers, moving through until the trees begin to clear and you come to the aqueduct. These great ivory stones, steps meant for creatures maybe closer to ball size. So for the rest of you, it's a little harder to go, but the path has been altered somewhat to make it easier for pilgrims. You begin ascending. It takes several hours just to get to the top. As you're pushing forward along the way, you see a few tents here and there. You see some pilgrims huddled. Sometimes a few of them, sometimes just one seemingly meditating as you wink your way up to the top.
While we make our way up, I think that's where I'll contact Braun.
Okay.
Oh boy. And I will say, we're back in 9 minutes. We'll be in the city by morning. We found one of the weapons we were talking about, and we might not be as opposed in our goals as you think we were. Since I'm imagining this raven is still lurking and I don't want to just outright say what I mean. I might attack on the end. We're being listened to and watched.
I'm glad to hear that you're keeping an open mind. I'm outside the city, not far. But know when you arrive.
I stop. Oh, great. Alright, I'll cast it again. We're outside the city, because so are we. Maybe we can meet up.
In the morning, we can meet outside the deserted hearth when you arrive.
Perfect. I say to everyone else, and let them know.
So, what are we planning to say to him when we see him?
Where's our shit is a good place to start.
Yeah?
And I will switch to Psychic, need to make a plan about our friend who we don't want to hear the conversation with Braun. Perhaps once we get to an inn, we can pop into the orb and hopefully escape his watchful eye for a little while.
It's a good idea.
I think back not at Ezekiel, at Felix. Well, maybe we frame things in our planning when we're talking to Braun or when we're talking to each other about how to talk to Braun in a way that doesn't go against Black Star's wants.
Braun knows we're being listened to, so he should hopefully take care with his words, and we can emphasize the importance of that again before we go. If worse comes to worse, it's a bird and it can only watch one of us at a time. So maybe one of us can distract it.
When we're talking over our plan, look, she doesn't want us to bring down the gate, right? But Braun does. So we talk about how we're going to trick Braun into thinking we want to take down the Divine Gate. Or we talk about what we can do together that doesn't involve that, like we were already planning to. And honestly, if she thinks that we can deal with her sister or whatever without taking down the Divine Gate. Maybe she's right. Maybe we can.
You're cleverer than I give you credit for sometimes, Vl'Aeri.
Thanks, I think.
All right, so we make Braun believe we're on his side, and I'll switch back to vocal so that I don't have to play telephone.
And if he thinks we're helping him, he can tell us what the Will was planning and how they were planning to do it, which means it'll be easier to stop.
And hopefully he might have insight into how we can pick off some of these harbingers, maybe, given what I saw.
Was it harbingers or was it the Will's allies?
I don't know. It had you all fighting them.
Where were you in all that?
I wasn't there. Or if I was, whatever viewpoint I had of it, I didn't see another me in the fight. It's likely because I'm not one of you. Tasha said a couple times that she hadn't foreseen me being here. It was supposed to be someone else. So I don't know if that means I don't make it to the fight, or if my knowledge of the future is causing me to break it somewhat.
Well, bullshit, because you're going to be there with us.
Of course, I can't let you do this. Do you really think I trust you to do that on your own?
Of course not.
We'll try to keep you alive.
It's my job. I will keep you alive.
If I don't keep asking people to kill me.
Yeah, that I can't really help.
It just seemed like the best option without killing any of you.
Wish I had gotten a chance to talk to Tasha.
Well, Datos knows, and he owes us an explanation now.
He already refused to tell me what I asked him.
Yeah, well, he said you weren't ready. Now we've got about 2 months. You're ready.
Really, it doesn't fucking matter if I'm ready or not. I have to deal with the end of the world, and I'm not ready for that.
You'll give me a perception check.
Everybody?
Oh boy.
Everybody.
That's exciting.
That's a mediocre roll.
Dirty 20.
Clean 20.
23.
14.
9.
By clean, I mean natural.
Oh my god. Sanitary 20. As you guys continue to follow up the aqueduct with the ivory stones, you eventually make your way to the top. The plateau is covered in light snow as winter is heading in. As you begin to press in, at this point there is a road that leads through the forest to Nymanet beyond, as you're finishing the last kind of leg of your journey. As you continue forward, you enter into this strange part of the forest where the snow melts away and it's somewhat warmed by winds. This area is full of life, growth, plants, trees, vines. You hear the skittering of creatures, birds, insects. You see the lights of torch bugs fluttering in and out of the forest. And as you're moving this way, Ball, you hear distantly ahead something running. Before all of you, besides Felix, hear something being tackled into the snow up ahead. You hear the whimper and wail of a creature, a deer or animal of some sort, whimper before going silent. As you get closer, you can hear the sounds of tearing.
Well, we'll look at the party and say, no, that might just be nature doing as nature does. Or do you think we should investigate?
And how far away does it sound?
Maybe 100 feet, 150, something like that.
think we should be cautious, but it is the Druid's Grove. I would think it's probably just a natural predator.
Is that in the direction we're going anyway, or is this to the side?
It's kind of ahead, but to the side.
I guess
just
maybe
off the road a little bit.
Right, so maybe as we go kind of a little cautiously in our regular path, if we do get somewhere that feels like it's around 50 or 60 feet, then let me know and I'll try to do something.
Yeah.
And if not, then don't worry.
Do you think this area has the same rules as Ezekiel's Grove about, not harming creatures?
Let's look for tracks when we get closer.
So you guys move up maybe 50 more feet to where you're closer and you can hear the tearing stop. It's just quiet.
Does that put me within roughly 60 feet of the location?
Roughly, yeah.
Ball will use Divine Sense. And I would know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total cover.
Pushing your senses in that direction where you heard the sound, which was just silence maybe a couple of seconds ago, you don't sense any sort of fiend or undead or any sort of strange presence. You do sense something behind you on the other side of the road and above you, leaking from the sky.
Behind and above me, leaking from the sky? Okay, I think Ball will just kind of whisper and say, well, whatever it is neither undead nor fiend-like. Still could be many things.
I'm going to use the boots of, my boots, and I'm going to switch my tracks to, wolf prints. And I'm going to creep forward and try and look for any other prints in the area.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Oh boy. 9. That wasn't the primary focus of what I was doing.
And give me a survival.
21.
Okay. You move ahead off the road a little bit, towards kind of where you heard the sound, circling around a little bit. And you can see on the ground the tracks of maybe a caribou or a reindeer, large, heavy. The snow is either absent or very light here, but it's leaving an impression. It's a full-grown adult deer. As you continue to follow the tracks, you start to see a few blood spatters. And as you kind of look around the trees, you see a form, a mass, laying on the ground. Looks like a antlered reindeer on the side. You can see it's been torn into its neck and its sides ripped open. As you creep around just a little bit to get a better view of it, you step on something, a twig that snaps. You hear growling coming from a bush nearby. As the large dire wolf shows its teeth.
I'm going to stand up to my full height, use thaumaturgy twice. I'm going to make my voice louder 3 times, and I'm also going to make the sound of others snarling behind me, and I'm going to try and intimidate it with my negative charisma and also snarl back.
Give me first a perception check. Actually, what's your passive perception? How about that?
My passive is 14.
Okay. And then give me like a intimidation check.
Okay. 9. Because it's a -1.
As you use thaumaturgy to growl, it doesn't seem to flinch or make any movement. It takes 2 steps forward and just gets between you and its kill. You can see on its side there's a paint on it. You think it's blood spatter because you can see the red dripping from its mouth upon its chest. But there's also a mark on its side in white.
Does it look familiar to me at all?
It looks like a banner, maybe.
I will back down.
It looks similar to like a fanged head, like a wolf head, made into look like a chevron. So it's a very simplistic form.
Did you just go up ahead by yourself? Is that what happened to you?
Apparently, yes. I mean, you would have heard the snarling. But I'm gonna back down and start backing up. And not turn my back on it, but just walk backwards to the party.
I would assume as you're doing this, like, I don't think the party would just sit there and let you get snarled at. We would probably do the opposite and approach. So maybe we meet you halfway.
So y'all get up to where you can kind of see this form. And it's not as Vesper's backing up and you guys move forward to meet her. This large direwolf is just kind of standing between her and its kill.
Okay, why don't we just leave that alone?
That marking. There's got to be people nearby.
You wouldn't happen to know Ezekiel de Barbarak, would you, Wolf?
Why are you talking to a wolf?
Well, our friends used to be able to turn into things like this.
I think we're still, moving backwards away from the wolf and its kill.
Okay. As you begin to back up, it also starts to see the rest of you shift, and it kind of exits, circling into the trees, attempting to get out of your sight, essentially. You've backed up sufficiently to where maybe you're back on the road. You no longer see the creature. What do you do?
Let's keep an eye out as we move forward.
It doesn't seem particularly hostile as long as we leave it to its business.
But there are very likely others out there, or people.
Alright. Well, keep your torches up and let's keep moving.
So you guys push forward, hearing more creatures, squirrels. You see a few foxes running, playing, the sound of birds. And then the snow begins to kind of creep in, and the frost. The vibrant undergrowth of the plants begin to fade away, killed by the frost, leaving just the resilient pines as you exit out of that circle of life. And there's a bit more of trees and forest before you come out of the tree line and see the great clearing, in the center of which is the great city of Nymenet. Massive, ancient white stones that rise up. Looks as if several cities were kind of joined together, spread out large horizontally, with a few peaks here and there in various districts. As you move forward along the trail towards it, the main gate, you see the sort of slums, the ruins, that are kind of used as the very cheap outside of the gates. And you also see outside of the walls rows and rows and rows of tents. Torches lined up now that night is fully fallen. You see a few campfires. You hear the sounds of people talking about them. You see soldiers on the move, marching this way and that. You see some of them either riding or walking beside direwolves, as you see a large encampment of force. You're not sure how many, several thousand soldiers encamped outside of the city gates.
Are there any banners that we can see?
There are black banners with a red wolf.
Oh, shit.
Great.
When you see God's rest surrounded by armies.
Okay, just one army so far.
There's no way we're getting in there, is there?
It's us. We'll figure it out.
So where are y'all heading? You're kind of entering into that sort of slums district outside of the city itself. What are your goals? Where are you going?
Well, I mean, does it seem like the city is currently under siege, or...
No. It looks like there's an encampment outside of town. There's an increased presence of soldiers there, but the gates looking ahead seem under guard, but open as usual. There's an increased presence of patrols even here, but it doesn't seem like there's been any direct warfare or siege.
Okay. Maybe it's...
We should try and get in. Oops.
Yeah. Maybe it's not going to be as much of a problem for us yet as it looks like it might be. Because this sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it?
Well, let's try to find a place to stay the night. Then I think that's a good first place to start.
Well, we can go back to the hostel in Vl'Aeri's district, though. I glance at Felix. You might like...
He's already... It's just this sneer at the word hostel. Like...
You might prefer the kind of accommodations that can be found in, what was it, Rasarab's district? Seems like it would be more your style.
I can find you a place in Ayan's district too, if you'd like. I might go to the temple.
Well, I will not be staying at a hostel.
It's not that bad.
Right behind Vl'Aeri, Vesper's like, no. Shaking your head.
I think we require a bit more privacy than that offers at this moment. Let's just make sure we can get in first. If not, then we're finding a tent.
As we continue on, I'm still, arguing. You know, it's not as bad as that one place that we tried first, remember? The, soot hole, was it?
You actually tried a place called Soot Hole and thought that it was going... You know what? I don't think there's any hope.
It was an ash hole, so,
So you guys continue through this area where it looks like you see the same stone bases, where there were maybe towers or buildings made of the same material, but over time, through conflict and war, they've been reduced to mostly rubble. And from that rubble, some people have built kind of shabby, thrown together accommodations, wooden on top of the stone. They're simple, but they kind of get the job done. There's some places look abandoned, some places where you can see hearths and fires through the windows, or outside where you can see gatherings of pilgrims. As you head towards the gates themselves, from what you remember last, they are under an increased amount of guard presence, specifically from the vanguards of the Wolfrath, god of war. There are a number of soldiers kind of sitting nearby. It looks like they've taken they've taken a number of kind of empty, abandoned houses and are using them as extra quarters here next to the gates, where there are a number of guards and their direwolves as well. At this first gate, which is currently closed, but there is a doorway next to it. So the main gate is closed, but the single entrance, one by one, is open. There is seems like a vanguard who's in charge enough, wearing a coat of fur. He kind of steps forward to greet you. State your business.
Weary travelers looking to find solace within the city walls.
Always got plenty of those. Your destination.
Temple of Ayan. Not touch my holy symbol.
An inn?
Temple of Vl'Aeri, and I touch my holy symbol.
One of y'all give me a persuasion check.
Can I do it?
You can do it.
Thank you. That's a natural 15 for 27.
Looking at two people wearing holy symbols, and kind of smirking and laughing a little bit at the inn remark. All right, well, you know the rules if you've been here before. Keep light on the magic, especially in these days. And he kind of looks up at the sky. Don't cause any trouble, and you won't find it. Clear?
Absolutely.
All right.
Of course.
Gods be with you. And he kind of steps to the side, nods as the other soldiers step to the side to allow you through the gate. He kind of squints at Ball, but doesn't. He's seen other things. So you guys go through and enter in this first gate and enter in sort of a corridor that is like a kill box. It's kind of this narrow, open hall where on the left and right of the ramparts are numerous ballistica soldiers who would just fire down into this box to trap you, where there's another gate on the other side that you're waved through and enter into the city proper. This first section you enter is sort of the heavily guarded, heavily militarized district that has been taken over by the followers of Wolfrath. And there is a significant amount of patrols, but also just what looks like off-duty soldiers going to and fro. Where do you go?
Do we want to find rest first? How late is it at this point?
It's maybe like 8 or 9, something like that.
No, it'd be like closer to midnight, because you said it was like 4 or 5 when we landed. 8 or 9 hours, so.
Oh, you're right. It's midnight.
Yeah, let's go find a bar and get rooms.
I assume they know the city well enough to just find it.
Yeah.
Not a hostel.
We'll find a good place.
Okay. You'll know the best places are probably in the district of Rossarab, Fortin's Path. So you head in that direction. You see numerous, looks like, places to eat, public houses, taverns, and you do see what looks like an old bell tower. There's an attachment of a fine-looking tavern with numerous other attached buildings. You see some people laying out on the rooftops of it. It's sort of a Casablanca vibe. It looks like a more fine establishment to find rest in and food. Moving towards it, moving inside, you find a male human, short brown hair, very clean-shaven face, fine but not overly ornate clothes, maybe in his 50s, who introduces himself. Welcome to the Bell-Toll Tavern. My name is Proprietor Vias Kazarak. How may I be of service?
We need some rooms for the evening.
I do have some available. I presume you are here for this. What kind of accommodations would you like? We have one with balcony over the streets, one with a larger balcony with a great view of the walls, and we do have some, I think I have 2 left, with a private rooftop entrance as well.
I look at Felix.
I'm fine if we just get 1 or 2 rooms. One with a roof access actually sounds handy.
For all of you? There are 2 bedrooms in the master suite that can accommodate up to 4. There is a couch as well that can accommodate 1 other, unless you would want to purchase an additional room. I believe I might be able to find an adjacent one, but not attached.
I think that would be fine.
All right. Well, per night it is 50 gold for the rooftop bar. If that is not to your liking, I do have a few other more attainable options.
Sorry, I don't have the party funds up at the moment. Was that a head shake from Swan?
I was just looking at my personal funds. I'm like, I do not have this.
Yeah, I was going to do the same thing, and I'm like, oh, I don't have any money.
I have enough, barely.
I have enough.
I mean, I have enough. It will just leave me with very little.
I'm going to go ahead and pay for that out of my own funds.
Thank you very much. I'll guide you this way. He goes in to the back, grabs a key, comes back, and leads you through the building up some stairs, and then crosses a sort of bridge into an adjacent building. There's a hallway, looks like a couple of doors. Those have been quartered off, and enters into one, unlocking the door. This is your suite. As I said, there are 2 bedrooms, a den here with some lounge areas, and the stairs to the rooftop are right over here. It is private as well. There's candles and matches here. If you do require any drink, food, I can send to your room.
2 bottles of wine, please.
Of course. And any food? A warm tomato soup, curries, roasted goat.
Curry would be lovely.
For each?
Sure.
Yes, I think we could all do with a meal.
Good. Shall I bring 2 for the gentleman? And he points to a bar. I believe that is...
Yes, I think that would be a good idea.
Be about a gold. Reasonable?
I can do that. I'll pay for that one.
The servers will be here momentarily. They will collect payment then. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your stay at the Sunset Tops. If you need anything, simply pull this cord, and he gestures towards a cord near the entrance, the door, and a server will be here post-haste. Good evening. And he exits.
Good evening.
Am I the only one who feels slightly nervous staying at a place called the Bell Toll?
Yeah, that's a little ominous, isn't it?
I didn't even think of that until you just said it, but now, yes, very.
As we're getting in, Felix wants to go through, make sure if there are windows, I don't know how windows function, make sure everything is closed, the door up top is locked. I do not want any fucking raven in this room right now.
Roll an initiative check.
Okay.
Can I inspire Felix for this?
Sure.
Can I just say, go Felix, go Felix, go Felix?
That is a what die?
It's a D10 now.
Ooh, D10. Okay. So, that is a dirty 20.
Okay. So you move to the windows, which were closed but unlocked. You see, as you get to it, the raven lands on the window still, beginning to put its talon upon the window as you close the curtains. You run up the stairs to the door where you see it lands and begins to hop towards the door before you close it, lock. So you were able to keep it out, it seems, as you kind of rejoin in sort of the central den area. After you begin lighting some candles to illuminate a little bit, you do see the raven perched on the window, or the silhouette of it trying to look in through the curtains.
Was that a good idea?
I don't really care.
And I will think it, Felix. We should still be careful what we say.
Well, we have an alternate chamber if you would like to have more frank discussions.
After about a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so since you arrive, you hear a knock at the door.
Oh, food's here.
You open it up.
I was going to go answer it.
Okay. You open it up and servers bring in and lay the food and wine bottles upon the table, as well as a number of goblets.
I am like shutting the door behind them as soon as it's
a gold payment.
I pay them as Felix is ushering them out. I think as soon as they came in, I shut the door behind them when they came in, and I was like, it's fine.
Okay.
That's what I was talking about. Like, when they come in, he, like, slams the door, and then as soon as they're out, it's like, go, 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 go.
Here's your money, go, leave.
Okay. So you have your food and wine and seemingly privacy.
I will open up one of those wine bottles and pour some for everybody.
So, Vesper. I don't know if I breezed through a lot of things in my discussion with Tasha, but how you feeling?
A lot. You're going to have to be way more specific. There's so much going on right now.
Well, you're the only one, presumably, with an awake harbinger inside you, or waking up one, so any thoughts that aren't yours?
God? Has it kind of just been what we've already touched on, or?
About
About this essence connection and things?
Yeah. It's just kind of a sense of confidence and power. Now that you've gotten more comfortable with it, you know you can draw upon it now that you've done it a few times. Yeah, it's cold, but not in a painful way, like a familiar way.
No thoughts that aren't mine. There's just sort of a sense of melancholy, coldness, but it's not bad. There's a sense of power. I know I can draw on it. I know I can control it. The way I know I can control a scalpel or a spell.
So why you first?
Because I'm connected to the one that broke first.
How many harbingers are there?
12.
12. Is that including what's-her-face?
I don't think so. Based on what we saw of Black Star, Narasine would have to be the equal to her. And Black Star doesn't appear to be one of these things, or if she is, it's different. I think there are 12 in addition to the sisters.
And there are 13 waystones.
The gate's already breaking, which means the wheel's probably already moving.
So we should rest up, get to Braun. Do we have any idea where we might be able to learn something about Amethystus? You all spent more time here than I did.
Well, there's a great big library here.
Full of nerds. Not very pleasant ones either.
Costs a bunch of money, like every other fucking library I've ever been to.
When Amsen says nerds like that, Vesper just gives him a look like, and you're not a nerd?
I mean, I am. But at least I don't charge money for, like... Well, no, sometimes I do charge money to tell people what I know. I'll stop talking now.
So, we can go to the... What's it called? The scriptorium? Is that it? Maybe do some research there. Maybe see if we can find anything about this Domidedius while we're at it.
If you don't mind me stinking up the room, I was going to cast another legend lore on Amethystus.
How often can you do that?
As long as I have the materials for it, which I have one more casting. It's expensive. But I have one more.
Not enough for Domidedius as well, then.
No, we'd have to get more incense, unfortunately, and that's another 250 gold.
Well, there are a lot of temples around here, and temples have a lot of incense.
This is true.
Doesn't Braun have some of your shit? Is there anything we can sell?
Probably several enchanted magic items that we don't need anymore.
And maybe we can find a buyer for some of this wine that we have.
There's so much gold in that wine, and it's useless.
Alright, well, Amsen, I don't think we're all opposed. If we can get a lead on Amethystus, it might figure out or help us decide what to do tomorrow.
Alright. I guess I'll start getting ready for that. Might as well do it tonight, and then I'll have full spell slots in the morning. So I'll take 10 to 15 minutes and do that. Cast Legend Lore.
Okay. What does that look like as you're preparing? I'm pulling up information.
I think kind of same as last time. I find a nice flat place to set everything up. Arrange the ivory as Melly, what's it called? Instructed me to, and then putting the incense on these ivory pieces, and then one by one, lighting each of them a flame.
Okay. Alright. I couldn't remember if this is the one where you had to ask questions or not.
No. All I do is I just name or describe a person, place, or object, and then it just tells me things.
So as you light the incense, and it begins to cloud and form and billow, it almost pulses, contracts, and relaxes awaiting your word.
Amethystus.
The smoke of the incense seems to react to the word. The sound waves kind of pushing the smoke in swirls, changing direction as a vision begins to take hold. You can see the smoke grow, large, spread out like wings. You see before you a ancient dragon of crystals, old tattered wings drifting off from the snow, or from the incense smoke. You can see scars upon her, the crystals fractured and broken in many places. Those crystal scales that cover her, some of them ripped off. As you're moving, limping. Amethystus, ancient sister of Agamemnon, sister of Victor, daughter of Ziara, and of the great drake Akashon, mother of X, lineage of dragons. She is the eldest of the Akaric order, the order of balance, of the crystal fading and waxing moon. The last seer, she consorts with Akashon and with Savera, and those blind seers of the Holy Opus. Her scales, their claws, bring balance and foresight to avoid calamities of destruction. But she is fading, as all dragons are, immortal to the limits of their will and passion to thrive. Hers is dying. Time has torn at her soul, the trials of her life broken her body. She imprisoned her brother and led to his destruction. She guided those who brought down Relic long before. She speaks with the ancients, and she knows their tongue. She holds the eye of seeing, eye of foresight. She hides in the sea of stars. The smoke moves and shifts in visions of Amethystus, and you see less of specifics, but more a blur of her involvement in ongoings throughout the centuries. Never involved in any small conflicts, never risking so much to save so little, only involving herself when great things of desolation come. As the incense begins to fade and drift apart.
I think Amsen is uncharacteristically quiet afterwards. And he'll say, she's dying. She's alive, but she's dying. And she's hidden in the sea of stars.
Can we help her? Is it an illness or a wound?
It's said that dragons are immortal as long as the will to live remains intact. So, probably not. But she's basically the be-all and end-all of prophecy. She foresees everything. She is the one who tells prophets and seers what they see. She brings balance and order to all things that she's involved with. And if she knows that the universe is going to end soon, I can imagine that would kind of toll that would take on someone who can see the future. So we don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. But I guess we ought to need that.
I wonder if we would bring her hope or despair.
That's an excellent question.
I mean, personally, I'm aiming for hope, but...
So how do we find her? Contact her?
Klaus, DM man. Where is the Sea of Stars? Do we know that?
It is the astral plane.
Oh. Well, we'd have to go back to the astral plane.
I mean, the astral plane is rather vast.
You managed to find the... What was that called? The Eye of...
The Eye of Merv?
Yeah. Felix, you managed to find the Eye of Merv in that grand expanse of nothingness.
And I had months to prepare for that voyage.
We don't have months to prepare for this. I wonder if Dietos could help?
Maybe.
Vesper, could you try sending to her?
I could certainly try, but I'm not familiar with her is the problem. It may not connect, and... Well, she doesn't have to know me is the thing. I just need to be familiar with her.
What does familiar mean?
Good question. I could contact my mother, though we'd never spoken. If you tell me more about her, maybe I could try.
Alright, I'll tell her everything that I saw from the legend lore. I'll describe what she looked like, how she's this absolutely beautiful dragon, but, is worn down, her crystals are cracked, and etc., etc. The various titles that were given to me, and the amazing things that she's done, and all that.
I will think on that for a little bit, and I will cast Sending and try and contact Amethystus. And, what do I want to say? Great dragon, we seek your aid in stopping the end of this annulus. We need your help, and you are our only hope. Is there a way that we could come to you, or for you to find us?
A few moments go by. Quiet. Just the sound of outside the windows. Hope. Hope is in short supply in these times. I do hope it will be enough. I see your struggles and your scars. There's a silence before you feel the voice not responding but coming in again. What is your goal, child? The divine gate. Fractures. The entities immortal make their moves vying for power. The ancients await, watching, as the cycle creeps ever towards midnight. What do you seek?
I seek to put an end to the cycle of the Harbingers and the Black Star. I seek to protect my annulus and my world and the people in it, to secure our future, by whatever means necessary.
You would walk a razor's edge to either side doom. Do you know what victory might look like? Could you accept that you may not see it?
If that's the only way to make it so, then yes. But I would do my best to see a new day dawn, a safer day.
Long gone are the days when I would fight. I'm not sure what I can offer you, except for what I know, what I see. I have little left to give.
It will be enough. We need everything we can get. Any help, any aid, any way of travel.
You remind me of someone, a white wolf, I worked with some time ago. The stakes are bigger now. Do you know who these Harbingers are? I cannot promise that I can help you without seeing you, without knowing your intention, what side you cast yourself with.
I understand. We know who they are. We know our intentions, and we would like to see you too.
They're watching for me, and yet they are likely watching you too. It will be easier for me to come to you. It will take some time.
We got 2 months. I don't say that, but... Time is something we also have very little of. Can you find me by knowing me, or is there something else I must do for you to find us?
I see as I can see you. Even now, I know where you are. Cannot come directly, as the divine force prevents it, but I can come close. An old friend. I will fly. Other forces amass outside the gates. Wicked forces. My kin. I'm not sure if you have faced one of us before. Do not take it lightly. A few days, I will find you, wherever you are. Do not conceal yourself from me, and I will judge you, and whether I will help you or not.
Thank you. Be well, and we will see you soon.
Hold hope.
And Vesper will fill in everyone on the side of the conversation they didn't hear.
All right. Well, if she's coming to us, then we should pursue whatever's closest, whatever of these things. Do you think there's any chance anybody in this city has a teleportation circle that they could give us? Be nice to be able to get back.
You can't teleport into the city. There's a barrier. I guess that's why why Blackstar couldn't get us any closer than she did.
Ah. But the druids, we were closer when we were with them, weren't we? It didn't take us long to bring Calvin into the city.
Their method would be different. Traveling through the earth.
There is a portal that can get us to Gaethalt from the Temple of Vl'Aeri. So I think Ellery kind of reaches up and just puts her hand to her eye. As much as I'm not looking forward to giving up my eye, I think that might be the best thing to try first. And I can see if I can get some help from the people at the temple. Maybe they'll have more information about what we can expect.
Okay. Do you remember offhand how expensive this library was? Perhaps while you all talk to Braun tomorrow or check out the temple, I could go try and do some research while we have access on some of these items, just to know where we go next.
I don't recall Melly was the one who was leading us mostly through there.
Yeah, I was there, but I don't remember how much it cost.
She's rich. She doesn't like to talk about money.
Could you spot me 50 gold from the party funds to make sure I have enough to get in there?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
And I will give him 5 platinum.
You all should sleep.
Yeah.
The wines are red, deep, flavorful, fills you with a warmth. The curries are spicy, but not too hot. There's these, panini grilled cheeses. Instead of naan to dip it in. Man, now I'm hungry. Anything else for you before you guys go to bed?
Go ahead.
I think at some point, maybe after we finished eating, before we head to bed, I look at Vesper and Ball. Are you two okay? That place we were in, do you remember it? Going through there before?
I don't think so. It has It's been a long time since I've died. Vulcan has a little half smirk on his face.
I bet. I remember the ground, the black snow. It became clearer when we were there. I remembered it a bit more, but it was a while ago. And I don't think we're really supposed to remember what lies beyond.
Do you remember what we said to you?
A little bit. Not very much. There was a song that Amsen sang that used to get stuck in my head, and I didn't know that was what it was from.
It's a good song.
It was nice.
Fucking made me cry.
Again, I don't think we were supposed to remember, but I know I heard.
Kind of strange that having visited there, I'm a little bit less scared of going back.
Yeah. It's still awful, but when I first started feeling all this ethos, it was sad, and it was so sad, and now it's just melancholy, like I said. It's peaceful. There's something peaceful about it. Certain.
And I think at this point, I look at Felix. So, what do you think are all of our chances of getting through all of this alive? Surviving to see the other side of it?
I'm not a gambling man. I don't know odds. What I do know is that in order to stop the cycle, we have to get rid of the Divine Gate and the Harbingers. One thing that I think is becoming more clear is that I don't think you all are the Harbingers. You are, but you're more their vessels, forms capable of holding the power that they need to come back. It would make sense to me that even if your Harbinger is gone, there is a chance you will be able to still be here. But I don't think any of us will know until it happens.
Well, it's worth it though, either way. I want there to at least be a world left for my sister.
Let's get some sleep, so that we can make sure there is a world.
Yeah. Part of me doesn't want to go to sleep, just because there's so little time. But I'll try.
The only other thing I want to say is, as everyone is sleeping, Felix will complete his meditation and then continuously look out the window and get frustrated and then look at his pouch and think. And then he is going to dig through his belongings for a diamond and start scratching something in. And then he's going to place it on one of the half-finished wine bottles, as it is going to glow a little bit for a minute, as the label will split down the center and fold back, coming these papery, leathery wings. And these 3 little crab-like legs with claws will pop out of the bottom. And then 2 or 3 little pink dots will appear on the, I'm envisioning a green glass bottle. And I'm seeing, like, you remember, was it Princess Mononoke with, like, the weird forest spirits with they just have the 3 dot faces that are entirely expressionless?
I love it.
And I'll just look at it and go, okay, well, you're creepy as all fuck. And that's it.
Its purpose is to pass butter. Alright, so anything else before you guys go to Betty Pie time? Why did I say that? Okay. So you guys take in the food and drink. Felix creating his wino buddy We'll see what that's about. But you eventually all find rest or meditation. There's 2 bedrooms with beds large enough to easily hold 2, maybe even 3 people. And nothing is big enough for a ball, but there is a couch and plenty of blankets to lay out on the floor. And you eventually all find rest. The raven seemingly finding some place tucked in the corner of the windowsill out of the wind. And sleep takes you. Let's take a break.
Next time on Back to the Story.
I seek your aid, but I'm not here to offer empty promises. I need you to do something for me.
What is it you want this time?
The scant information you get on them is more themes of poisoning, murder, assassination, betrayal, and sacrifice, all for a higher purpose.
This episode is continued in Part 2, which uploads Friday and will be available wherever you're listening now. For behind the scenes and more, check out our Tumblr, back-to-the-story at tumblr.com, and follow us on Twitter for updates, at back2_the-story. And if you're feeling especially generous, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory. We'll see you next time in Northville.